And we're back with C'est La Vie, the podcast. This is our podcast following the web series C'est La Vie, written and produced by myself, also co-written with Deborah. And I'm Laura.
And I'm Sebastian.
And we're here to talk about the making of the show for the perspective of letting people in on the people who love the show, letting you in on a little bit of behind the scenes magic. Yeah. And then also for people who would like to make their own web series or maybe even their own short film.
Yeah.
We're hoping that some of this leads to some insight.
Yeah. And help further your understanding of film and further the appreciation for what it takes to put a proper project out for people to consume.
Right. And also, I'm hoping to constantly keep the love of film and television and comedy, sitcom, alive, because it's been a minute since we've had a real sitcom. People are calling The Bear a comedy. You've watched The Bear on Hulu?
No.
Okay.
Oh, yes. No.
The one about the chef.
I've seen
not
episode.
Not comedic.
Okay.
Nothing in it. That makes me laugh.
They're calling that a sitcom?
They're calling it a comedy.
Oh, a comedy?
Sitcom, that word's kind of gone out, but I heard that that's what streamers are looking for now. Hey guys, call us. This will be a great 30-minute sitcom. This web series is just the precursor. It's the prequel to the proper sitcom that we can bring to your streaming platform.
Real.
But no, in my opinion, Ted Lasso is closest recently to a sitcom, right?
Yeah.
It's
That's
got a decent amount of jokes in it. But true sitcom,
fun.
Something like Modern Family or Friends is really sitcom-y. Mostly jokes. There's a story behind every episode. There has to be. To have people be doing these jokes.
Okay, now I'm getting there.
Right? It's in the past, sitcoms were considered 70% joke, 30% story. So you take this story, but while you're telling this small story, you're ripping through jokes every other line. Right? Chandler was joking the whole time. Everything Joey and Chandler said to each other on Friends, right? Modern Family, less what they said and more the scenario. Constant joke, over the top scenario. I'm sorry, the things they're calling comedy now are not true comedy with jokes in it.
Right.
And so Ted Lasso's closest, newest thing, I think, unless somebody can name something that I'm missing. But I was saddened that it didn't win this year at the awards because
Succession did.
Well, Succession was listed as a comedy too, a dark comedy.
Yeah.
But Succession did not. The Bear won over them.
Yeah. No,
so,
I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Succession won everything.
Yeah. So my thought is that that I would like to bring the true art form of Lucille Ball comedy back.
Right.
You know, the great Carol Burnett, Friends. Those people were underrated. If you go back and watch Friends now and you watch like Ross get stuck in those leather pants.
Yeah.
And put the lotion on and slap himself in the head. And this is hard stuff to do as an actor. And to look like it's really happening to you. Like you're not making fun of it.
Yeah.
And it's funny. And it's a challenging
It's its own art form within the art form of film, I think. And especially to pull it off, like you said.
Or Barbie. To make an amazing film.
Yeah.
That's on such a wild, fantastical idea. World. Yeah. And to make it such a successful film. And I'm sad that she really got, they really got, what's the word I'm looking for? Not appreciated at the Oscars, and it bothers me. They got gypped. But that's not, we can't use that word.
Gypped?
Yeah, do you know what it means?
No, I don't.
It's from the word gypsy.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah, but because I always pictured it, like I'm picturing the word in my head, Jipped.
Yeah. Yep.
But I think it's GY, And
that's
it's from the word
horrible.
gypsy. And then we're saying we're it's a comment on us certain people, like back in the day, people would say they Jewed me, or if they didn't give them what they thought they should get financially or whatever. So we can't use gyp.
Okay, well
So
they snaked them.
okay, I think you can use that. I don't know. You should talk to the snakes and see how they
I
feel
don't care
it.
about the snakes. I don't care about the snakes. They are horrible.
Yeah, they're supposedly biblically they're represented as the evil, right?
Horrible.
Yeah.
Horrible little creatures, aren't they?
Who knows? They keep down the rat population or something in the mice population in the world. Like everything has.
Hopefully not near me.
No, not near my. Well, hopefully the rat and mice population isn't living near me either, but they probably are. But speaking of film,
C'est La Vie, the short film.
yeah. But speaking of film, we're representing today.
We're representing some fantastic film schools.
Yes.
Two
of the top five.
Two of the top three.
That's right.
We've got NYU.
Mixed
would be
in the top
probably
three
in the middle
of the two.
between you and
USC,
and Chapman.
NYU,
And then, of course, there's AFI, American Film Institute.
There is, but
that's
even
a graduate
Emerson,
program only.
even Emerson, because AFI is not going to get you your
bachelor's degree.
Your degree.
It's going to get you your
something-
master's.
your film degree, or
Yes.
your master's. Yes,
Right.
And then you also have Emerson, which is the regular college is located in Boston, but we have a great film campus located in LA, where a lot of filmmakers here have gone. We could sit there and have a whole episode debating whether you should go to film school or just go in and make films. Here's what I think. My thought is, when you're young, going to school is a great way to meet the next set of people you're going to work with
for the rest of your life.
It's the great way to make community.
Yeah, your
to
network.
Find your network in the industry.
For sure.
And give you time still to mature out of the
Practice.
process of having lived at home and done all your, life growing up doing
Also,
the stuff you had to do. And now you're going on an endeavor to learn something you'd like to do.
Right. And I also think that film is definitely not a cheap art form.
Oh, God.
Like at all.
No.
And so I think film school is also a fantastic way to, one, get your hands on, industry.
Free equipment to use to make your own stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. One. And then two, mess up without millions of dollars at stake. Or
even low dollars at stake, but still.
Yeah, regardless.
So how many people have gone out there
Dollars,
and rented
end of
a
story.
camera or even maybe they had a friend who had a camera and they go out, but they start putting money into like feeding people on set and giving people money to show up. And then they make their project and their sound was bad and it never goes anywhere, or they didn't know how to edit it, or they can't distribute it, or whatever. The things that occur as you're learning.
Right.
Normal things that occur. If you're in film school, you get to do all that, and it's all a real learning process because they have a solution for you. And if it can't be fixed, you didn't lose anybody's money.
Right. And I think also at institutions like USC or Chapman or NYU, Emerson, I guess, as well, that your professors are not, they're walking the walk as well as talking the talk, right? They're
A lot of them are
they're teaching at these universities on the side. Their main income is working in the industry. And I think that's a fantastic way. Some good advice that I found, or that I was given, was, the some of the first really major sets that film students get on are ones that their professors need an extra set of hands, and you just happen to stand out of the crowd, and they will approach you. And that's happened to quite a few people that I've met and talked to. And I think that's so cool.
Right. So I chose to go to theater school, and because I was an actor.
Acting.
I wasn't making films.
Yeah.
I was an actor, which is great. But the community, unless you're in musical theater, does not build the same way. Plus, actors don't give actors jobs.
Right.
Let's be real. This very rarely happens.
No.
I mean, it may be that you're on set somewhere and you're getting a job and you hear about another part, and you can maybe ask your agent to represent your friend, and maybe they'll do it. Like, it's such a different beast.
I mean, take me, for example, on this project. having the ability to do a bunch of different jobs, whether that's lighting or first AD or PA or sound at moments or DP at moments, whatever, that gave me the opportunity, that gives me the option to go fill in the blank on a set, whereas
Right.
an actor has to fit the description, fit the height, has to read well with the counterpart,
Right.
Chemistry has to be the perfect fit, the puzzle piece. Whereas I can be more like water and fill in where need be,
where it flows.
Right. And I think that's something that makes acting and wanting to be an actor much more difficult.
Right.
Is within the crew side of things, you then land, okay, I have you start everywhere. If I wanted to be an editor, I could go be an editor. As well as a gaffer and a grip and so on and so forth. And then I really like that. I'm going to stick in that and I'm going to really get good and buy the equipment for this and so on and so forth. Whereas with an actor, it's a lot more difficult to match, to get gigs, to get jobs, because you have to be perfect every time.
Yep.
And so I think people don't understand
for.
that it's, and actors aren't producing all the time, aren't writing everything, for themselves, or, they're not writing in general, or producing, making,
but
filmmaking.
that brings me to the point of this whole thing.
Right.
That's maybe what you need to do as an actor sometimes to get noticed and to broaden your horizons into being a multi-hyphenate. Mm-hmm. And I think when people started talking about, oh, this person's a multi-hyphenate, that was like, it's like, oh, amazing, this person can do all this stuff. And then other people would come around and be like, oh, multi-hyphenate, like,
you're okay at a lot of things.
Jack of all trades, master of none.
Yeah.
And I don't agree.
Yeah,
I
don't
believe
either.
when you're in this business and you start being around these different things, you start adapting.
Yeah.
And you start having an understanding of all these different parts. And as an actor, if you don't write or don't want to produce your own project, like find a friend who wrote something for you to be in, my thought would be hook up with actors who do, so that they can put you in their little short films.
Yeah. Or go make friends with the film students and the theater kids.
Yeah.
Like, if, on the student side of things, of course.
Right.
But like, Ashley McPhee, who was part of C'est La Vie and lighting crew and it's like all over the place
AC.
as well. Yeah. She has a production company herself, Abstract Milk, and they do, they have their friends, their acting friends. The members of Abstract Milk will go do theater performances and meet new people so that they can ask their friends to be part of their projects. I've acted in their projects, quite a few of them. Right. They're super fun. But to your point, it's, if you want to be an actor, go make friends with those people that will put you in their stuff, because one, that gives you the reps and like the opportunity, reps as in, practice time in front of a camera, going to the gym for an actor. Yeah, it gives you that time to practice and better yourself and sharpen your sword, if you will.
Right.
Your craft.
And if something turns out good, it gives you reels. It gives you stuff for your reel, and you want to update your reel. You don't want to send
constantly
a reel to a casting director asks your agent to send in a reel, and 2 years later you have the same exact reel. Unfortunately, you have to keep updating it
all the time. And so be friends with an editor that can continuously edit your reel.
That's the whole thing, is that this is a community. It's a community organized art form. And therefore, being a single person in it, you can't treat it like I'm a singer-songwriter in a bar, and that's going to eventually get discovered and make my albums. You can't treat it as like, Taylor Swift is she's the main machine. She writes her songs and performs her songs and creates her stage shows and all that. That's what we're saying as actors and other parts of this industry. get together with people and do stuff. And hey, it might not be the best stuff at first, but you're learning all the time.
Yeah.
It's cheaper to learn now than it was before in terms of filming, because you can film on a DSLR, which we are doing today. We're not filming on a big camera. Or you can film on an iPhone or, I guess, an Android.
No. But yeah, it's obviously it's passion based and kind of switching gears, passion based. We're talking about episode
6.
Yep, that's exactly right.
Say Kate's new job.
New job. Is that her passion?
To do this job?
Yeah.
No, Kate is getting a job because Kate feels irrelevant.
Socially inclined to.
So no, she feels Kate had a big career.
Yeah.
She left the US and went to Europe and went to school and had a career and met her husband. And when they had kids, thought, oh, it's just much easier to go home and be near my family. And her husband comes and adapts to being in America and quite likes it. And they're living in California. It's a great place to live. It's beautiful.
It is.
So living in California, and Kate's children are now almost out of high school. What will she do? What is she going to do with her life? She still has life ahead of her, and she's facing midlife because suddenly she's changing as a human being. Changes she doesn't want to deal with, her face, it's horrible. And on top of it, her life is changing as her kids are moving. She's moving to a new chapter.
Right.
And now what does she do? What is she going to do when they're gone? So she's starting to feel irrelevant, and she wants that relevance back. She wants to have something for herself. So one of the first things she does is just try to get out of the house where she's feeling like she's not really doing anything anymore. And so she looks for a job, something to do, just to do.
And this episode was fun because we were in Burbank.
This episode was so fun. First of all, just the shooting in that office over those 2 days. Like if I could turn this into an office sitcom, I'm down.
Oh my gosh.
I would love to just set up
like
shop
The
and
Office.
just shoot.
Yeah.
Because it's a lot to be shooting in my house and trying to live life around
It is a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
All the Kate's episodes in the house were in my house, and it's challenging. But also, I do think that so The Office gave a level of freedom of not feeling like we're having to function living here too.
Right.
You know. But it was just loads of fun, but also because of the actors we had on set.
Yeah, the actors made it quite enjoyable. It was fun. It was not only fun to create, but to watch. You know, once action was called and, you know, quiet on set, action, and everyone starts watching. What's going on? What's happening in this take? Okay, take 2. It was so freaking funny, this episode. Griffin, who you'll hear a interview Laura did with her and Danny, who are in this episode.
Because Danny plays the new boss interviewing me, Justin.
Right.
And I won't give the spoiler of who Justin is. You
Right.
will find out if you watch the episode.
For sure.
And
Which
that's why
know.
it's episode 6. That's why it's after it. That's why it comes down the pike. Mm-hmm. First of all, Kate's been dealing with other stuff this whole time and trying to figure out what to do. So finally decides to go for a job. But you can't have this reveal without having stuff happen in the other episodes first. And then Griffin plays Jacqueline, or Jackie, just Jackie, which is the office
Secretary?
manager,
Yeah.
secretary for Justin.
Right. Fantastic. Laura and I always suggest that you watch the episode of the web series prior to the podcast. So if you haven't done that, I would definitely push pause on this podcast and go watch the the rest of that, or the episode, because it will be out. They're dropping at the same time, so
yeah.
Do that, and if not, I mean, not to worry. Go watch it after. It's definitely worth the laugh, I think.
Well, and the interesting thing, the shooting day.
Yeah.
We're talking about episode 6 right now, but we also shot part of episode 9 that day. Because there's a portion of episode 9 that happens in the office.
The coffee, or the not being seen.
Right. So you will see the people that are in episode 6 also in episode 9 again.
Right.
And
kind of talking more so on like the technical side of shooting at this office. This office was in Burbank, which is
great for the actors, but most of the crew was from Orange County.
Yeah, we all were driving from Orange County, which is fine, and we better be used to that. But those were some pretty early mornings.
Oh, can I tell you something that happened?
Go,
I don't know if you remember this. So I'm on my way to Burbank. First day of the shoot.
I feel like I know.
And there's a bag with all the sound equipment sitting in my dining room. Somehow did not get put in my car. But somehow, I don't remember if Isabella remembered or if it was me. But we got to... Okay, so we're driving from Orange County, if you know California, to Burbank. So we're driving from Huntington Beach area to Burbank. So we're driving 405, 605 to the 5.
Right.
Okay. At the 605 and the 5, I remember. So we're halfway to, or she remembers.
More than half. 2/3 maybe.
We had to call home. It's 4:30 in the morning. And we had to hope to God that my husband would wake up and answer the phone.
Oh my, I remember this. That was anxiety.
We get him up. He puts the equipment in his car. And, I was farther than that. That's right. And I turn around and start coming back, and we go halfway point for how far. I was almost to Burbank.
Yeah.
And we're like, we need you to come to the 605, and we're going to come back down the 5. And we estimate we'll be to that area by the time you're to, and we drive down, and I needed gas anyways. And I knew where a gas station was, because now I was going to need gas because I turned around. So we go down and we go park by this gas station, and he pulls up with the equipment. Thank God.
You did the handoff. It was fantastic though, because it was like day one.
Yeah, thank God it was only sound equipment.
It was only sound.
Because you would have to set camera,
I was
lighting,
say,
and all
we
that.
Were
You just have to plug in sound at the end.
Not ready for sound by the time you got there.
Yeah, I was panicked.
Yeah,
I felt so bad.
Because
I want to say something. Like some people, like I literally would say, you need to make their call time a half hour early because they're always late.
Right.
So if you want them there at 10, tell that person 9:30 or 9. Just a number of things. I dislike lateness. I dislike having to tell people to be there earlier. Not that I'm necessarily ready on all time, but if I'm going to have you, I need you at the set because we need to do all this other stuff. And I might be wearing 5 million hats. So it might mean you have a little bit of downtime when I go get my makeup on to be in front of camera. But I need you there so that everybody can get their pieces in place.
For sure.
And so that's one thing. Let me tell you out there, nobody in the business will deal with you being late. So don't be late. Actually, be 5 minutes early. Don't be too early though. That's especially if you're filming in someone's house. Or you guys were really great. You guys would sometimes show up early and then just sit in the car and wait till the call time.
We would.
Which is, I think, when you're going into someone's house, that's really a good thing to do because
especially
they might not be ready for you to enter.
Living. Yeah, that was always my big thing.
Yeah.
I want to say I'm an average late on time kind of person.
Sometimes you're late, sometimes you're on time.
Yeah. There's I feel like I'm normal. It's not like I'm always someone. But when it came to the days where I was, early or whatever, I would have a crew of my people because we would all carpool. And we would wait. I would make sure to wait. If we were just that much early, if we were like 15 minutes early, we'd wait until we were like 7 minutes early. and then we'd walk in.
Until you saw,
because we also had a lot of equipment to bring
Right.
in every day and stuff. So, you know, we'd take our time, but yeah, it was a respect thing for the family, you guys that were living in this house, which was our hot set the entire time.
It would be great if you have budget and you can shoot on a location or that's nobody living there or whatever. But what we're trying to say is we wanted to do this show because we really have a great show, we think, to move forward to. And we were downtime from the strikes and we're like, let's write this prequel and let's shoot it and let's make it. And the whole idea was it was supposed to be easy to shoot, not as hard to shoot as the main show, which it's going to shoot in Paris. And we ended up writing so many crazy situations. It wasn't that easy to shoot, but we managed to find a way to solve every problem and get it all done. And yeah, locations were free. You know, luckily the office was provided to us by Dee at 5D Spectrum because she's part of a women's group a creative in film group. So she, you know, provided the office for us. But what we're saying is do what you can to shoot to make your project. And then don't forget post. Because if you don't do post, if you don't do editing and sound correction and you have footage that you can't get out there. And then so post is something that people don't skimp on post. And then also have an idea of where you're putting that project, whether it be film festivals, streaming. How are you getting it out there? If you're making a full film and you're trying to sell it, then you better go to AFM or some place where you could try and get somebody to buy the film or find one of these film distribution platforms and get it out there.
Yeah, totally. I mean, there's the whole debate, you know, with film distribution as well. And is it fair? But I mean, generally speaking,
is anything fair?
Yeah, well, real. Do you hear about Film LA is hiking up their prices to this is as of this morning. Film LA, which is all the permits to film in Los Angeles County, are hiking up their prices even more because there's not a lot of productions happening anymore.
So it makes sense. Make it more expensive.
Make it more expensive.
Yeah,
and so that's just...
Well, also, okay, so here's the thing. Money is expensive right now.
Yeah.
Nobody pays attention to the reality of why production isn't happening. Well, interest rates are really high. How do a lot of productions get money? Loans, bank loans. So there are literal specific banks in LA that loan to a lot of these production companies.
Yeah.
Netflix included, all of them, Amazon, Sony, all these people, they're not just sitting on a vault of money.
Yeah. Yeah, of course.
Because they pay their CEOs too much. The CEOs have all the money. No.
Yeah.
But anyways, but they're taking out loans. Right now, loans are expensive. Interest rates are high. I don't know what the circumstances are on their loans, but probably they're needing to pay back some of their loans before the money starts rolling in on the project.
Right.
So if it's expensive to take out money, that's supposed to help inflation because it's supposed to reduce the spending of money. But the problem is when you have an industry that functions on loans, you're reducing the ability for that industry to roll.
Yeah, and I mean...
But then people jack up their prices, which is exactly what it's supposed to stop. The interest rate's going up. It's supposed to stop people from trying to get money more by making things more expensive.
And I think that's the whole point is, you know, ask your friend. You had a friend that had this office ready and available, and Dee is fantastic. She was so on board, ready and able at all times to whatever anybody needed. She just wanted to help, and it just was so kind. But, you know, use that. Have a good time creating those connections, and then, you know, if someone offers that to you, be grateful. Be grateful.
Yeah, I bought furniture for her office.
Grateful.
And she's also got producer credit during those episodes.
My point.
Because she should.
As she should.
She brought in a location. That's part of if a producer, people who bring in stuff are producing.
100%.
Right. Well, and she actually brought in a sponsor, XO Jackie, who gave us budget to feed everybody while we were there.
Super cool stuff.
So she paid budget money fed the cast over that weekend.
And that's kind of what I'm getting at is like, just utilize your resources that are that are available to you, because this ain't cheap. This ain't easy. You got to really know what you can't be messing around too much. Go have fun, go experiment, go figure stuff out. But, when it gets time to be serious, you gotta really come to a realization.
Well, and I guess it depends on what kind of project you want to do. So this project was big with lots of locations, lots of cast, we wanted it to be a real project.
Right.
We didn't want it to be we're setting up a camera and filming 3 people in a room, and just
one angle,
and we were looking for a true production.
Yeah.
Everybody coming on set wanted to experience making a true production.
Yes.
Nobody was looking to do that sort of more simple. But if that's where you're at, and what's holding you back from making a production is things like location or whatever, write your piece or find a piece that is in one location, that is easier to film, and start there. It may not be the greatest outcome, or it may be wonderful. You don't know. You have to try.
You have to just do it.
But the thing is, too, with what you were saying, like the office and the location, you don't pay for permits in a private location. Nobody could stop you from filming in a private location.
That was my point.
You could also film on the street if sticks aren't on the ground. You know this, right?
Yeah.
Like if you're handheld, they can't stop you. They can't. If you're making too much hullabaloo, they'll send you away. They'll come and send you away. But as long as sticks aren't on the ground, they can't charge you, is what I'm understanding.
Yeah. I think that's a big... My whole point with the whole permits thing in Film LA is, if it's being given to you, use that, because you're going to want to in the long run at whatever level. Because, it's a private location. You're a guest there, and you're allowed to. Boom.
Right.
That's the key. But I'm thinking through this episode, and so fun. I had a question on the acting side for actors, maybe. I'm just remembering Griffin's character, Jacqueline. How were you as an actor? What is something that kind of helps you not break in those extremely comedic moments where you're on camera? Because you're serious.
Yes.
That was the whole thing. You were serious. Everyone was serious. The actors weren't trying to be funny. It was just very funny. But my God, was the crew, myself included, keeling over, trying to not make a sound. We were dying. What's your process as an actor? Like, for actors?
I mean, for me, this wasn't like improv. It might be harder for me if I was literally improving with Griffin, because Griffin is quite funny.
Yeah.
She has a quick wit.
Yeah, she's hilarious.
When you give her an idea, she can run with it, or she can come up with an idea. Like, there's a fake cigarette. It's like powder, but it looks like... And when she found out that the director had one, she suddenly wanted to smoke as the character. I mean, listen, not just her, but Danny putting on that beret in the middle of a scene.
Yeah.
Like...
that's what I mean.
Right? It's
those
like
moments, how does that not make you...
But Kate has to not majorly react.
Yeah.
Kate's dealing with her own stuff. And so it's just, I wasn't there playing with them. I was Kate.
Right.
So that's the only thing. That's the only thing I can tell you is that I was busy trying to be
The character.
the character, and the character just had to take this for face value as if it was real life.
Right.
And so therefore, in real life, if I'm presented with somebody being so over the top, I'm probably not going to laugh in their face. You're going to laugh when you know it's your friend doing some fun stuff. But in real life, if you're presented with somebody who's crazy and over the top, you're probably going to just walk away with like
Yeah.
what was that about?
Right.
Type thing. And then you might go tell your friends, and then you might laugh about it.
Right.
But you're not really going to break in that situation either. You're going to break when it's your friend, when you're goofing or you're improving.
Mm-hmm.
And so for me, coming in as the character, knowing my doing and my purpose in the scene, I think that that's why that I'm able to do it and not start cracking up about it.
Yeah.
And then, you know, I have a real high bar of comedy. You really got to work hard to make me laugh. I don't know.
That's true.
I write crap comedy. No, I'm just kidding.
No.
But I have a high bar. No, but yeah, so there's that. I mean, you're going to see the two of them after this. I recorded an interview with them already.
Yep.
So that's coming next here on the
Just-
podcast. You're going to hear them, or if you're
gonna see
watching
them.
on YouTube, you're going to see them. And yeah, I don't know. It was just such a fun day. And the day we shot that, we also shot some of episode 9. And then weirdly, we shot the nightmare scene for episode 7.
Oh yeah,
We
were
brought
kind
in-
of ahead of schedule or something.
that
was always the plan.
That was the
kitchen scene.
plan because there
Yeah,
was
yeah,
a
yeah,
kitchen
yeah, yeah.
there, and then we didn't have to ask that actor to come all the way to Orange County.
Yes, but I
And
gotta
because of the
say
way it was
something.
shot, it just needed to be in a kitchen. It didn't have to be Kate's kitchen. It didn't have to, the way it's written, and also it's so dark. You're
No,
not
yeah.
really.
Speaking of dark, just briefly, I know that's not even this episode, but the amount of brain power that went into that lighting setup was so cool because
Because you used like C-stands
two
and
C
weird
stands
things.
and then connected them above and then hoisted spotlights on them and like put them above you so they weren't in the frame. It was crazy. It was super cool.
And you had to stand there and turn them on for us, right?
Yeah.
You were standing
Live.
off to the side, out of the camera range,
Yep.
and live
Yep. In time.
in time.
Yeah, perfectly in time because we had to sync the lights, had to be perfect. But that was awesome. And that was a cool day. Cool moment.
Yeah. The shoots went really well in Burbank.
Yeah.
And again, I think it's because some of the pressure was removed by not personally being in my house amongst people who living here.
Right.
So I think that was part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Episode 6 is a fun one.
I don't have a major lesson from it.
Neither do I. Apart from just there are moments where you just have to figure stuff out. If it's magneting lights.
Oh, if it was there was a bunch of windows in that office, and not exterior to the world. Weirdly, the two offices we chose to shoot in, weirdly, because in her office, her main office doesn't have a window to the hallway. Neither did the kitchen or the other office that there was actually somebody working there.
Yeah.
The whole time in her office quietly. Weirdly, the two offices we have, they're in way her place is shaped is this weird shape.
Like,
it's not square
No.
at all. There's like an office that sticks out and brings the hallway out.
Yeah.
And these two offices have windows and they look at each other. It was awesome for shooting.
Yeah.
It was a really interesting setup.
Cool.
But you had to not catch people's reflections, equipment reflections, lighting bounce off. There was a lot to deal with on the technical side because of those windows.
And yeah, I think that also just goes to like being aware of film, like
Not just throwing a camera up
you can't
anywhere
just put it
and a
up
light
or
up anywhere.
You have to be extremely aware of what's in your frame
Right.
at
Right.
all moments, right?
Yeah.
Even if it's a moving shot, what in that moving shot is going to reflect or potentially reflect, and
In
figure
that-
it all out.
Yeah.
That was a fun one though.
It was a lot of fun.
Overall, 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
Would do it again.
Oh, me too. Me too.
But yeah, so right now you're about to hear a interview that Laura did with Griffin and Dylan.
No.
What's his?
Danny.
Dylan. Excuse me.
Griffin, Kelly, and Danny Barclay.
Yes.
Griffin plays Jackie, and Danny Barclay plays Justin.
Yep. Well, enjoy that. I think we're gonna see you in the next episode.
That's right. Peace out.
Peace.
Ciao.
Later.
Hey, everybody. This is Laura with C'est La Vie, the podcast. And this is our podcast following our series, C'est La Vie, which you can find on YouTube and TikTok. So if you haven't watched it yet, take a moment and watch because we will be talking about the episodes. We will try not to spoil anything. And today we're going to talk about a couple different episodes we did, but mainly episode 6 and 9 we shot in some offices in Burbank, and we shot it with these lovely cast members who are here today. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Bonjour, je m'appelle Griffin. I played Jackie in C'est La Vie.
Hi, I'm Danny Barclay, and I played Justin
and Jackie. And this is Franklin, he plays Franklin. We don't know what his real name is. We've donned him Franklin, but he was such a piece. He needed to be in this. So we're just here to kind of talk about the process, let people know what it's like to make their own series, how people feel when they're on a small non-union. It actually was a union SAG shoot, but it was a combo union, non-union cast. And we're just here to help people find their way to making their own project, because that's what I got to say. If you want to get out there and do stuff, you just got to get out there and do it. So I'd like to talk to each of you about, let's start at the beginning, at casting. All right. So you actually came in to audition for another role.
Yes, I did.
How did you feel about the casting process and then discovering we asked you to play something else?
After the initial rage subsided, that I lost the role of Teegan, no, I was excited to get to still be a part of it.
Awesome. And how did you like the audition process that day?
I think it was great. I mean, it was nice to do something in person. That was the callbacks, I think.
Right,
after the self-tapes.
Right, we had self-tapes.
Yeah. And that was good. I mean, it was fun getting to sit in the lobby and seeing like how people were dressing and being like, okay, you're definitely reading for Teegan. You're reading for Teegan.
Well, I think, to tell you the truth, the day you came in, everybody was reading for Teegan.
Oh, really?
Yes. So what we decided to do was to cast the first main parts, which were Justin, Teegan, and a couple very specific things. Like we needed this chef to be a Gordon Ramsay type. Mm-hmm. So we were like, let's cast these bigger, harder roles right off the bat, and then we'll go back in for another round of casting. And we never needed to, because so many good actors and actresses showed up that we never needed to try and have another casting. We actually just started going through everybody that had auditioned, rewatching their audition, and trying to find where we thought that they would fit in the cast. And I mean, not everybody who auditioned got cast, but because we had a lot of people audition, but we did pick everybody from those initial casting sessions.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. And so something interesting about your part was that we liked you so much that your part was called secretary. And we went, no, why would she just be secretary?
Give her a name.
Yes, she needs to be something. And then she was, then I said, I don't remember, I think Deborah might have came up with the idea that I was like, she should be something, and just call me like, whatever. And that's when my writing partner, I think, came up with, well, she could be Jacqueline, and she could just say, just call me Jackie. And then that started spawning the idea, because we already knew that Justin was a Francophile. Mm-hmm. We already knew that Justin and Teegan were Francophiles. So we were like, okay, let's push it. Let's push the envelope So much so that he's such a Francophile that his assistant, secretary, whatever people want to call this position, would be somebody that's going to the nth degree to be French.
Mm-hmm.
During
the way I
workday.
was playing it, I was imagining she found out he was a Francophile beforehand, and then before her interview, and then just went in and never dropped it.
Yeah. So every time, she was when she said hello, ma'am, it was not French until she spoke to you, and then it was you, and you were Justin, and you came in and auditioned for the role of Justin.
Yeah.
You were actually the Justin that got the Justin, which is
Wow.
You were not Justin, but you know what I mean. You're the one who was like, I'm auditioning for Justin, and I got Justin.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was such a funny part as soon as I read it, and that doesn't, always happen. Sometimes you're auditioning for a comedy and it's like not that funny. You try to make something out of it, but this was really funny. And I came in, you guys were really friendly in the room. I think you gave some notes. We did it again, maybe a couple times. And I don't know, it just kind of clicked. It's a fun role.
We had, and interestingly enough, everybody did a different take on Justin being a Francophile. So we had a couple people go fully French. And then we had a couple people who went like, you could tell they were like putting on, like they were acting like they were putting on their best French, which was a cute take on it. And then you had more of a take where you were just normal and trying to say French words that sometimes you weren't even aware of how to pronounce.
Yes.
And you just went for it.
Sure.
And so we were like, maybe that would be the situation. No matter how many times he's been to France, maybe he can't say a certain
Just
word.
doesn't have the aptitude for language, or wants to, but can't do it.
Yeah. He really wants to be French or live in France. And then some people really played it heartbroken when it was like, but I've never lived in France. Yeah. And some people were less heartbroken. It was we got different takes all over the place. It was a really hard choice between everybody that auditioned. We had a lot of great auditions. But so then finally you guys were cast. And basically you actually were on set also for some stuff that we have where the whole group of people from the school get together. But for this shoot here in Burbank, we were here at the office where Kate is going to find a job because she's going to find her relevance by going back to work. Yes. And so she comes to you to look for a job, and you are the lovely assistant who, there is so much comedy gold that occurred that day. I don't even know what to do with it all. It's like, I might just have a bunch of outtakes that I'm posting.
Good. Please send those to me.
I will. But a lot of it's in very heavy files still. So it's like it's all got to be color corrected and processed, and then I could clip stuff out of it. But I wish somebody were walking around with an iPhone, grabbing it real time, because that would have been fun. But we had a lot of crazy stuff. And then there's a great moment where I walk up to you to ask something, and I'm a little over 5'2". I like to pretend I'm 5'3". I'm not. So I'm a little over 5'2". How tall are you?
I'm 6'2".
Okay. So there was a nice
a full
dichotomy foot of you looking down at me. That was a fun day. And then I also liked at some point the character that plays your wife on another episode comes in, and I loved how much you followed her around to emulate her. You were given some notes that I think that I was really pleased that you were able to, like, we were like, okay, you are in love with everything this woman does. And we really could see it come through.
Oh yeah, I was obsessed with her.
Yeah.
In real life, she won't call me back.
I bet. She's probably a little freaked out.
I don't know why. It's so sad. I have so much to offer.
I know.
That was really fun, though, and I really liked getting to be just fully enamored with her.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I love that, Jackie doesn't do the accent with Teegan. And I think Jackie loves that. She's like, we have a special bond that transcends the relationship between a secretary and the wife of her boss.
Yes.
And that felt really special.
Yes,
for
because
Jackie,
she like recommended a necklace or something. Yeah, that's super special.
Yeah.
I do like that you spent a lot of time deciding about the character. So I guess for you, we talked about that you came in and auditioned for Justin, and was there anything that stood out to you in the audition process, and then we also had a table read day that we did, but that was for the big group that you came into before we started. That was after we were shot these episodes.
Yeah. No, I mean, like I said, you guys were very welcoming. And I think we might have been in here, and we were sort of in a circle more than like, I'm here, you're across the room, like judging me or whatever. It's like, it felt more inclusive and warm, which is great. That's great for, it's very conducive for comedy. So we played and we had fun. We laughed, you guys gave notes, and I felt good about it. Sometimes you leave an audition and you feel good about it and nothing happens, but I left this one, I felt good about it. I was like, I could get that.
Nice.
Yeah, so.
Nice. Well, we hope that not only did we provide a good atmosphere for auditioning, but we hope that people can come to an audition and get a chance to do acting.
Sure.
Right? That's all, so that you can get a chance to play, get a little direction, do whatever, so that you go home, if you don't get the part, knowing that you had a fun day acting.
Well, I felt that even on the self-tape, because I really enjoyed it. It was fun. I was like,
nice.
Click. That was cool.
Yay.
Hope they call me. If they don't, that's all right, because I got to play that role for 45 minutes.
You don't even know how happy you are making me. Because, you sit down with your little, me and my friend, we did a podcast episode a little bit back, episode 2, I think we talked about our writing process, which is my co-writer is my best friend, but she now lives in Portugal. And last week she was here visiting. So we did a podcast episode, and she and her and I were talking about what we do when we write. And out of maybe a 3-hour to 4-hour phone call every Friday morning, I'm up very early and talking to her while she's in Portugal. Sometimes we get 30 minutes of writing out of that.
Sure.
But all of it actually is writing. All of it is our process, except for maybe when we're bitching about whatever, the price of milk or whatever. But it's all part of the process of how we created these characters. It all comes out of this give and take we have while we're talking as friends, and as we're talking, we might pop up with an idea, go, oh, wouldn't that be funny if during the season the person, oh my God, wouldn't that be funny if? And then those things start coming out, and then we start researching stuff on our phones while we're talking to each other, and suddenly it morphs into something, and we might actually write something, or we might just write notes in a Google Doc and go off and write something and come back. So we never know, because we don't feel like we're really writing. We never knew, really. We read it and we were like, well, this is what we wrote. We like it. But we never knew if it was going to come across to other people. If they were going to take it and go, this character is well developed enough for me to enjoy playing it. Because I know where you're at. I've been on auditions with scripts where you're like, I think this character's just a reason to walk somebody into an office,
right.
I don't think there's anything behind this person.
Right.
And there's a lot of pieces written like that.
Sure. Most of them.
Yeah. We tried to write a little, in our Bible for our main family and all of that, we have the main family and the main characters have a big Bible, but in the process of writing this web series, we did try to go in and write a little paragraph on each person's backstory. Even once we met you and decided, okay, so I don't think you're Teegan, but I know that I need you in the series. I know that you could bring something to a character. Okay, so what can we give her? Okay, so there's the secretary part. We could beef it up, and let's figure out who she is. So we figured out who you were before we added. So we actually increased the dialogue and the part.
Yes,
I know, all for you. So we did that so that, and that made sense to us rather than just handing you some smaller part that just didn't, really have much for you to do. And, you know, I mean, that's just part of also me when I meet people that I just want to always, I want to work with you. I want to do something. I want to, you know.
Well, I think there's also something so special about getting to play a part that was written specifically for you. Like, you know, writing with an actor in mind, I think is so helpful to fleshing out a role. And then when the actor gets that role, it's like putting on clothes that were like tailor made for you, and you're like, ooh, these fit me so great.
This is so much better
such a
than
good feeling.
off the rack.
Yeah. You have to go bespoke.
That's true. That's true. Okay, so episode 6, Kate arrives to get a job, and first person she meets, Jackie, or Jacqueline, as you would tell your boss, or as your boss would call you. So, I don't know. Give me a highlight of the day, of the shoot. We shot, you guys shot 2 days in a row? Yeah? No, or all one day.
It's just one, right?
Just one day?
Just one. I'm trying to remember. I think
Yeah,
it was 2 days for me because Teegan and I had like a scene in the filing cabinet, or was that the same day?
I feel like I was there for that.
Were you?
Yeah, just hanging around.
You were waiting.
Combined.
They were combined. You were waiting because then afterwards you did the coffee scene.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
It was a lot.
It was one long day.
Oh my God. It feels like 2 in my brain.
I
can't
know.
believe we got all that done in one day.
I know. Well, and in reality, that's one of the things we talked about on this podcast. In a better circumstance, I would take 2 days per episode. Technically, though, you were just your episodes did take more than 1 day, because what we did was we took 2 office scenes out of 2 other episodes and put them in 1 day, and then there's more to each of those episodes. Those are episodes 6 and 9, and both of those episodes had other things happening. Kate
God,
with her
filmmaking
family.
is complicated.
Huh?
Filmmaking's so complicated.
I know there's a lot of math involved. People should make sure that they learn how to do charts and graphs. And math if you want to make films. Yeah.
Yeah, stay in
So
school,
stay
kids.
in school, yeah. That's what I was going to say. Do your homework. So, highlight.
Yeah, a highlight from the day. I mean, I really like in that scene all of the little, like, unintentional digs at Kate's age. like, not even, like, mean-spirited, but, like, from a place of genuine concern.
Yeah.
Just, like, I just don't know if you're going to be able to...
Keep up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and we had hoped for more extras. We had called more extras, and we ended up with our lighting person being an extra and our producer's daughter. So we had 2 extras that were definitely younger than me, so that helped. They were the other job candidates. But we had hoped for, when we wrote it, a bigger space and a room full of, like, girls flipping their hair. This is our vision, and then we had to get to the reality of our budget.
Sure.
Yeah, and so that's another lesson to be learned with filmmaking, is that you can't, unless you have a big budget, you might have to make some concessions.
Yeah, improvise and roll with it.
Yeah. But, you know, improvise it in a way where you're still pretty much getting the essence of what you wanted, and you're happy with it. So, I like this. One of my favorite things is, somehow you ended up with a cigarette.
Yes. Oh, I forgot about the cigarette. I still have that. It's like a little prop cigarette, but it looks real.
Yes. Did you bring that?
No.
No, the director brought it.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Right? And
she did.
It lights, right?
It doesn't light, but it has like powder in it, I guess. That if you blow out of it, like a little puff of smoke will come out.
I wonder if she wants that back.
No, she said I could keep it. Yeah.
That's exciting.
Yeah, it's my little
God.
my
You
little
got a souvenir.
Uh-huh.
Well, I would give you Franklin, but he
I
doesn't
don't need
belong
him.
to me.
I couldn't ask for Franklin.
I'm okay.
Also, he still haunts me in my dreams. So
I like Franklin. Franklin weirdly kind of reminds me of my dog. My daughter's over there nodding her head. Yeah, a little bit like one of my dogs.
It's very intense. That eye.
He's just, he just needs something. He just needs something from you.
You're
He
not
needs
giving it
something.
to him.
Right. And then the way he's seated For a moment, I thought he might be trying to pee, but I don't know. I was like, what's
Oh, he doesn't have a tail. It just goes to butt.
Well, I don't know what happened
guy.
there.
The cigarette, though, I think it was just like someone made a joke offhand, like, oh, it'd be funny if she just like had a like what's very French. She's got like the beret and she could like have a cigarette.
Yeah.
And then someone was like, yeah, actually, yeah, let's give her a cigarette.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so you got one.
And so I got one.
I like that. The next thing for me is when you pointed at the when I needed the bathroom or something, or she went that way. Mm-hmm. I love that shot through the window.
Yeah. That one took a little while to set up.
Yeah.
But,
That was
I can't wait to see it.
That was fun. So what is he? Who is he? Who's he for the listeners? Who's Franklin? Franklin is a piece of art, and I should have received the artist's name before I went. So you know what? By the time this goes up, I will have some sort of ticker or something across the bottom telling you who the artist is who did this. But we discovered when we did auditions here, there was a table in the corner over there, and I walked in, and Franklin was there. And we were doing auditions, and halfway through the day, I was like, that dog thing is very much staring at me. And I was like, is it a jackalope? And it's not. It's a dog with antlers, I think. I don't know, because it's got rabbit feet. And so we will get the answer for you, because there is an answer, because Dee, who this is her office, got us the answer, and now I'm forgetting it. So we'll put it across the bottom. But so what happened was, then the crew thought he was funny, decided to name him, stuck him in Jackie's office, and he sat there in Jackie's office with a name tag in the corner. So I think maybe he shows up in a scene or not.
Oh, I hope he does.
I know.
He's going to be devastated when
If
the
he
episode
doesn't.
comes out if
Well,
he's
that's
just
why
been
he's
cut out
here.
of it.
That's why he's here. He's really quiet.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's well behaved.
Yeah, but he emotes.
Yeah, he
You
does.
can really feel.
Yeah, you could feel what Franklin's feeling, can't you?
Definitely.
For
He's
sure.
sending a lot my way.
Right.
With his eyeball.
Yeah, looking right at you. He's like, Danny. What was the highlight for you?
I just think back to sitting in that office chair and how fun it was in that little office Justin had. And I felt like suddenly I had a whole world, I think that was the character, your script, but I felt like, let's just play, I wish we had hours to just improvise.
I do too. I would have liked to really spent more time. Sure. Not that there was anything wrong with what we did, but this is why I said moving forward, I would try to have more days in my shoot, because and we did have a little bit of a rehearsal the day before, the Friday before you came in and shot, but not really. We did more like kind of walk through where you're going to be. It wasn't really a rehearsal.
Right.
We needed a picture of you and Annette to be Teegan and Justin, which we will put up here too, in your berets for you to have on your desk. So that's another thing. We took a picture of you on Friday, sent it to Walgreens, and by Saturday had it printed. Our producer Lawrence brought us a frame, and it was on the desk for us to shoot with as a practical. So we had a bunch of things. Funny was I named the school Walton, just because I was trying not to name it Walden, because there is a Walden in LA, and I was trying not to name it Waldorf because our kids go to a Waldorf, and we were trying to play on that kind of private school. So I named it Walton, not finding anything on the internet, and then my producer brings in sweatshirts that say the Walton School because his kids went to some summer camp at some place called Walton. So we had sweatshirts that I don't know if they ever got in the scene.
I feel like there was one hanging over a chair. I don't know if it was in the frame or not.
Folded on a shelf.
They were folded on a shelf.
But this,
for eagle-eyed viewers.
Yeah, you can
That's
go
really
back and watch it.
Easter egg.
You have to. Oh yeah, it is. It's a good Easter egg.
But it was fun, Griffin. I felt like this relationship was rich, and there was more to explore there, and every little interaction we had was cool. So it was just a lot of fun.
I feel like we could write an office comedy.
Yeah.
Don't you think?
Yeah, well, I mean, if there's another season, there need to be more Office.
Yeah, I
scenes.
think we
They're
should.
so
Listeners,
funny.
write in.
Yeah, well, the problem is that the next season is not in
you're
this
in France.
country. But
All right, we'll go. We'll go to France.
You can be remote working.
if we must.
You're remote working from France.
Sure.
And we'll just be on Zoom.
sure, she goes to France because she has a job. Well, but anyways, I think also it doesn't necessarily mean that will be what happens, because there can be time between her leaving. There could be still another. You could still have 10 more episodes because they're short as a web series before she actually lands boots on ground.
Right.
But also, there is nothing wrong with Teegan and Justin visiting France. Not her, just showing up in France. Right? Because they're Francophiles.
Yes, of course. Of course.
And or just walking down the street and suddenly there's Jacqueline there to learn all she can for her boss. Mm-hmm. She's practicing her French.
She has to pick up his baguettes.
Right.
She goes every weekend.
Yeah, I had to come for his baguettes. Sure, Justine's baguettes. So
Lots of possibilities.
Lots of possibilities. But I literally think there could be just an Office sitcom out of this. We might have to consider that soon. Especially because we have an Office.
Sure.
It exists. It's here.
You just wanted to go to waste.
I know. I mean, so what if Dee runs a business out of here?
Yeah.
She still has 2 empty rooms.
This is exposure.
That's
for
right.
the business.
That's right. I mean, one room is full of artwork right now, but you can squeeze in there.
Well, we could fill it with more art. The art of cinema.
That's right. Okay. So those are our highlights. Can you think of anything that happened on set that was funny?
Someone brought in a homemade, was it like crumble or something that was so good?
What did we have?
There was a quinoa salad or something.
I made that.
Yeah, I thought so.
I made the quinoa salad. That was really good.
I'm thinking about
I
that,
eat it all the
yeah.
time.
It's delicious.
Actually, I feel like we had it last night for dinner. We did, didn't we? Yep, we had quinoa salad last night for dinner.
I don't know if I tried the quinoa salad. I saw pizza and my mind went blank and I just
Yeah, it was pizza,
shoveled it
and
as
then
much
I
as I
brought
could in my
quinoa
mouth.
salad for that day because I typically don't serve pizza on set. Now, small productions are, hey, you're going to serve what you're going to serve. But we were trying to run we were as professional as we could be on as low a budget as we could be. And so we were like, we're having a lot of people on set and we need to feed them a decent warm meal, and it needs to not be pizza and burgers all the time. So the only reason we did pizza that day was because we were told how good the pizza place was.
Oh, it
next
was
door.
so good.
We just had it for lunch today.
Yeah, no, that was high quality pizza. That was not Domino's.
No, it's a little Armenian bakery.
Ugh,
Yeah, it's very good.
so good.
We watched the guy make our pizza today.
Nice.
So we do it. It's called Altadena Bakery. So
Link in the show notes.
Plug for them. They can give us some budget if they want for the next time. We'll have them on set. But yeah, so we have. We did have pizza and quinoa salad, but crumble. Did somebody have a crumble?
I think it was like a strawberry or rhubarb. I don't remember. I just
don't
remember it
think
was
anybody
so
did
good.
Rhubarb. Although I do dig a rhubarb crumble.
Right?
But I've not had one in a long time.
Maybe I'm just like fantasizing right now because I'm
Maybe.
hungry.
I can't remember. We had some different dessert stuff, and I can't remember what happened, what we had, when.
Well, whatever we had that day was delicious.
Does anybody in the room remember? Anybody?
I remember
Crew?
something sweet, but I don't know.
I don't remember what it was either. So interesting. I remember the pizza, but not the... I feel like there was something sweet in there after the pizza, and I just don't remember what it was. So clearly Griffin knows.
Yeah. Was it? I don't know.
No, you know what it was? It was from that bakery.
Was it?
Yes, it was Dee. Dee brought in a tray of things from that bakery. And there was something in there that was like a crumble bar thingy.
There was that. There was also a homemade something. It was in a Tupperware. It was like,
in a
because
Tupperware.
I remember the cookie tray.
We brought a Tupperware of the banana bread you made. She made banana bread. And then did we have something else? We might have had something else.
Something with
Griffin's not
berries.
satisfied.
I know this is
No.
riveting content
No,
right
I
now.
actually feel like you're right because we did bring a couple different things we made in Tupperware that we made. So
I'm all about dessert, so
I feel like
this
it
is
might
what
have
sticks
been
in my
Renata.
mind.
We're gonna need to check with Renata.
Yeah.
We're gonna need to check on this. It's very important to figure out where the crumble came from. I'm thinking that maybe Renata brought it. But we also had sweets from Altadena, and we had often have banana bread on the set because my daughter makes banana bread all the time.
Oh, I just thought of another highlight. Who was the woman who was doing the BTS photos?
Nawoko.
Yes, Nawoko. She was so fantastic. She brought gifts for everybody.
Nawoko, I would love to have her on another set because she seamlessly, well, she's small, first of all, that helps her, but she's very limber. Like she'll squat down and hide in a corner with no problem for like 20 minutes shooting photography. She wears all black, as should be on set, so she's not noticeable. And she goes and hides in a corner, and we have fabulous photography, which I'm trying to organize getting people links so they can post stuff as long as we need it tagged to us so we can brand. But yeah, or I'm going to be sending people links. Even if you don't do social media, you can have the photography.
Great.
But because I don't think you really do social media.
Little bit.
Little bit?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know if I found you on social media.
I'm hiding.
No, figures.
That's by design.
Yeah, I do social media, but I don't have a name. And so highlight was the crumble that we don't know about, and Nawoko.
The secret crumble, yeah.
And Nawoko.
Mm-hmm.
And you?
I think you put together a really great crew, especially, and a great cast. And not that first day, but when we were shooting the dinner party episode, things got crazy. The schedule got behind, and you had a huge cast that day. But somehow, everybody pretty much kept their heads and stayed friendly, and we got it done. Like, that is hard.
We had a
accomplish.
cast of about 18 people that day. So 16 or 18, all crammed in one house, and it was supposed to be shot as an outdoor party scene. It poured rain that morning,
That's what
even
it
though
was.
it wasn't supposed to
I remember
rain.
a weather event. Something put you back. Yeah.
And then the rain stopped, and the sun came out, and then we found out we were in a airplane path that we did not know, and so it was very loud, and so we had to keep saying hold for airplane. So we're like, let's change this. Let's shoot inside, and everything got moved inside except the actual sound bath, and yeah, some of those actors were here earlier this morning talking about that episode. That was a really cool day. To tell you the truth, as a filmmaker, to be honest about this process, if I had the ability to, I would reshoot that whole day. Not because of anything anyone did wrong, because I had to make concessions based on that weather and that noise that I didn't want to make.
Yeah.
And so because I was forced into making a choice that I don't think fit, that it doesn't serve the episode as well. I think the episode's still going to be good and funny because the acting was still good. They did that, they shot night for day. And I was really worried I was like, it does not seem very bright in here. How's this working? I've seen it on camera. It actually looks like daytime.
Great. Yeah.
Because they put some light behind a window, lowered the blinds, had a little crack in the blinds so that the light would peek through, and all it was fake light, but it made it seem like outside there was sunshine. So
awesome.
Movie magic.
I know. It worked out, but ultimately it was a very tight space compared to what I really wanted the episode to feel like.
Yeah.
So if I had the ability to, I would reshoot that.
Sure. That was another, like, to talk about another positive from it, when you were talking about how you wanted to give every character like a little backstory. I felt that in those scenes because, I was meeting a lot of these actors for the first time. I didn't know anything about them, and our characters might exchange a line or two. But I could tell that all these these actors could riff. Like, they could improvise for, all day based on these little characters they had. So that felt really rich and really fun. And I think, kudos to you for filling everybody in on the page so that they could play like that.
Yeah. And then, of course, and we also tried to, like, if they had questions about who they were or whatever, we tried to fill in more information for them.
Yeah.
Boy, but talking about riffing, we talked about this in another episode where Mitch, who does the John character,
Yes.
oh my gosh, the things he was coming up with were, oh my god,
So funny.
I know. Again, a whole nother person who you could build a show around that character.
Right. Yeah.
Like, the one main one I remember is the alpaca hair rug. Were you sitting there when he said that line?
Sounds familiar.
He's like, and this rug is pure alpaca hair and given to us with the consent of the alpaca.
Yes.
It was made
I
with
hope
their
that stays
consent.
in, yeah.
And I know, but I don't know that she shot it in a way that we can use it.
Right,
So it'll have to be an
yeah.
outtake.
Got it.
Because I don't think she ever shot. It was like, I still haven't reviewed the footage with we talked about this, and I know it was a little struggle that day to get the thing with the sweater.
Right. Yeah.
I agree with you. There was nothing to cut to. So what are they going to do?
That was here. That was
That was
this
here,
day. Yeah,
right?
Yeah. That was
this day.
complicated, yeah.
That was complicated, and they kept swearing they have it. And they swear they have it. Now
great.
that one footage I have not reviewed,
Yeah.
and if they don't have it, I'm going to have to create something for them to cut to,
Right. Yeah.
which would not mean I have to call actors back or
No,
anything. Like I've
insert
already
the
done a
photo
pickup
or
today,
something.
right? Like I've already done a pickup at my house where we did a bunch of shots and they didn't really the way they moved the camera, they never really got a dead on shot of my face, which I mean I'm not diva-ish, like you need this close up of me. But the problem was with everything more in the wide and then the camera angling more towards the other people, what was happening is you were sort of losing the character's point. So the editor asked, can I get close up on this dialogue so I can cut to something? And so we went back and recreated the scene. Just me, Isabella, Sebastian, who came in and did the lights and directed it that day, and Yasmin, the camera operator. We redid it. Lawrence was there that day and helped us out. We threw it up, had a sound person, so there was like 5 of us there. And
Great.
did it, picked up a couple lines that were missed here and there on some other things, and jammed it out last week. And we're like, okay, we did these pickups. So I think that in reality, if you're trying to create such an intricate story, I find this in movies too. You're going to have to probably do pickups or ADR. Now see, we ADR'd your lines. I heard them. I was listening to them the other day. I was looking through the footage, and that was so good that we did that.
Oh, good.
It's beautifully sounding. And now I'm like, oh, because there was some times when the boom operator was low in one spot. So I may be going around to people's houses with this mic and ADRing people.
And our sound booth, a sedan,
That's right.
Can't
And
beat it.
just in a car.
But you know what kind of sedan?
No, I
It
don't
has to be
remember.
cloth seats. You can't
Does
do
it?
it in leather seats.
Mm-hmm.
Did you know that?
I did not know that.
So
And
if
now
you
I
want to
do.
make a
How
sound
about
booth,
vegan leather?
I don't think so. I'm sorry.
dang.
It's just it's too slick.
What about suede?
Like Franklin. Now, you're really getting into
We
the
should find
weeds.
out. Yes.
corduroy.
I feel like corduroy would work. It's a fabric.
Mm-hmm. And it's like
Suede might
textured.
too.
you
Right,
know?
suede might too. I think it's about
Absorbing the sound.
absorbing the sound.
Mm-hmm.
That's why vegan leather won't work, because it's still a slick, bouncy
Sure. Yep.
situation.
Got it.
Hmm.
Makes sense.
Yeah. So
I'm glad we figured that out.
I know.
Follow for
It
more tips.
Oh, wow. Follow us for more tips. But if you need to pick up sound, or if you feel like you're having any sound issues on set, you can go into a car. We did it on a couple different things where we needed lines cleared that we were having trouble maybe that day with a lot of noise. Go into a car with your boom mic, your recorder, just your sound guy and your actors. Have them slate it just by clapping and saying what scene it is, and have them they can sit there with their paper. As long as they don't move their paper, read their dialogue at a nice pace, and the editor can use it and use those sound bites so that it doesn't. And then if they need that exterior noise, then that's what the sound person hopefully records a, what do you call it? Room tone. And the editor can lay the room tone behind it. So editing's probably the process in this. Editing and marketing, like filming is always the easiest. Editing and marketing, then, even though filming's not that easy, but getting through that part, it's the editing and marketing those next two steps at the end that are hard. All right, guys. What do you think? Do you have anything you'd like to add? Like to say? Other than...
I do.
You do?
No,
Or adieu?
I
Adieu? Adieu.
Gotta work on that accent.
It's terrible.
Yeah.
I thought it was I do.
But I like that
I do.
Justin, he's a try-hard. You know, the accent's not there, but it doesn't stop him. Same with me.
Okay.
Au revoir.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah.
You're
thank
welcome.
you.
And I really hope to work with both of you again. And that's not like,
Absolutely.
Yeah, I can't wait.
that's like serious.
It'll happen.
It will be. All right, guys. Thank you so much. See you next time.